And there were times when he also gave of his own musical talent. And Jerry was on hand last year to hear his beloved BSO thrill European audiences as well. That was important.
Yes, music was only one of Jerry's passions. Still to come on Eyewitness News, one of his other great loves, baseball. And the image and the man were the same.
When an unknown but dedicated reporter named Jerry Turner came to Channel 13. Right from the very beginning, people sensed that he had something special to offer.
Ooh, French fries. Thanks, Jerry.
When we only have one day to impress thousands of people, we'd better give it our best shot. So tomorrow, Coons Ford is starting the year off with a bang. One day, one price on Coons Ford Rangers, only $59.95. $59.95 with over 200 to choose from. One day, one price on popular F-150s and Bronco 2s. Remember, one day, one price. Only at the world's largest, Coons Ford. Exit 17 across from Security Square Mall. Be there.
This Sunday only, Starving Artist Group Art Expo and Sale. Thousands of beautiful original oil paintings on canvas by talented professional artists. Giant sofa-size paintings, sold elsewhere for hundreds of dollars as low as $19. Smaller paintings from $7. Absolutely no painting over $39. Professional artist quality at rock-bottom Starving Artist prices.
Sunday only at Martin's East Wind across from the Golden Ring Mall, the Timonium Holiday Inn, the Pikesville Holiday Inn, the Columbia Hilton, and the Glen Burnie Holiday Inn number 2. Sunday only, 11 to 4.
We only have one day to impress thousands of people. We'd better give it our best shot. So tomorrow, Coons Ford is starting the year off with a bang. One day, one price on Coons Ford Escorts. Only $56.81 with over 200 to choose from. One day, one price on Taurus. Only $99.98. $99.98. Remember, one day, one price at the world's largest, Coons Ford. Exit 17 across from Security Square Mall. Don't miss it.
We have a broad range of services available at Giant. Everything from computerized prescriptions to just that personal contact. There's a lot of interactions with the customers. We're going out and we're talking to them, you know, finding out what their problems are and if we can help. We offer the ultimate in pharmaceutical services. There's a level of expertise and a level of professionalism at Giant.
Don't miss Levitt's January sale and clearance. Levitt's is loaded with after-Christmas furniture bargains, items that have been price cut dramatically. Hurry in today.
People who report the news are supposed to remain detached from it. For us tonight, that isn't always going to be possible, just as it wasn't always possible for Jerry, because as Alex Dimitrick reports, when it came to journalism, Jerry Turner was a very human link between the story and his viewers.
He covered the saddest of news.
Challenger, go at throttle up.
And he covered the most joyous. During his 25 years in Baltimore, Jerry Turner brought the story home. One of the biggest came early on in his career at WJZ in 1963, when he told Baltimore of the assassination of President Kennedy. The killing of Martin Luther King and Robert Kennedy followed, and from the anchor desk, he reported on everything from the unraveling of Watergate to the night the Colts slipped out of town. But when he had the chance, Jerry Turner liked to leave the studio and go back to the streets, where he began as a reporter, covering stories like the first visit of Pope John Paul II to the United States.
It's a different kind of atmosphere that he brings with him, and perhaps, hopefully, it is a lasting kind of peace that he will bring on his papal visit here to the United States.
There were also harder stories, like an investigation of truck safety.
What about speed? I mean, you hear guys talking on the CB about that to keep going?
Yes, it's the same thing.
And one of the earliest reports on what is wrong with the Chesapeake Bay.
You're liable to catch maybe an empty six-pack or an old tire or some cans, that kind of thing, but no fish.
News took Jerry Turner to the Middle East, Germany, England, and much of the U.S. But he was primarily a local newsman with a personal style that wasn't afraid to let the personality through.
We probably have a slight complaint with all the candidates, though, tonight, at least the major ones. They have wrapped it up so quickly that they've taken a lot of the old-time suspense and fun out of waiting.
I know. Besides that, I was planning on paying the mortgage off with the overtime.
That's right.
Well, you not going to happen, is it?
And because he wasn't afraid to smile, he wasn't afraid to sometimes let the sadness come through, like the night the world learned of the loss of the pride of Baltimore.
Spring nights to come, when sailors spin their tales, they'll talk of pride, her trips in friendship's name.
Alex Dimitrick, Channel 13, Eyewitness News.
Jerry set the standard we all hope to reach.
Add to all that journalism a bit of jocularity, when and where appropriate, of course. And you have the balance that made Jerry Turner #1. Don Scott reports it's also a combination that made him first in the hearts of his co-workers.
There was a bit of difference between the two-dimensional Jerry and the three-dimensional man we knew in the newsroom, but it was just in how he used the same well-known talents.
And in this room, those qualities served a very special purpose. No matter how crazy and confused the day could get, late in the afternoon, when that man walked around that corner, everybody here said, "Yeah, now we're going to have some fun." Jerry made us laugh. He kept us sane. And in this business, that's something.
So how will others in this business remember him?
Jerry was always a good laugh. He had a good laugh. He made us laugh, and we made him laugh.
Probably his laugh and his smile. You know, when I think of his smile, I don't just think of his mouth, I think of his eyes and his whole face crinkling up, and he just had that twinkle in his eye. You know, many things, I guess I think of the smile in his eyes almost more than the smile on his lips.
Jerry Turner was probably the most consistently nice, pleasant person I've ever known. Good days, bad days, terrible news. Jerry was always even and wonderful.
He simply had something that is rare today: class.
He was a full person. He led a full life. So many people in show business and in our business are narrow. I liked him. I liked him a lot.
I don't know anyone who did not. Don Scott, Channel 13, Eyewitness News.
And of course, not all of Jerry's co-workers are those here at Channel 13. They include colleagues at other Baltimore stations, people like Jack and Susan White Bowden at Channel 2.
The loss of a real friend, a friend of this community, a friend of us all personally, the loss of a very great human being, someone who taught us all a lot about television and about living life to the fullest.
Yeah, we learned how to do television to a large extent from Jerry, how to be reporters, anchors, and in the end, how to live, and I guess go out with dignity and courage.
Yes.
That's the Jerry Turner all of Baltimore Broadcasting knew, and it's the Jerry Turner we'll all remember.
And it's Jerry's wish that all of you remember him through the scholarship fund set up in his name last summer. In lieu of flowers, Jerry suggested a short time ago that he would prefer you send donations to the Jerry Turner Scholarship Fund, 6 East Hamilton Street, Baltimore, Maryland, 21202. Westinghouse Broadcasting created that scholarship as a tribute to Jerry's 25 years here at Channel 13.
And Michael Olesker takes a look at now Jerry Turner, the celebrity who always seemed to take his fame completely in stride, did he not?
For all the attention that was thrust upon him, he just always kept his cool. The nature of television is that it bestows a certain fame on people who manage to stay in it long enough, but some people handle fame better than others. I remember Jerry sitting here one night last summer, and he was incredulous. He'd had lunch at Cross Keys that day, and he saw a couple of kids, real polite kids, he said, and they'd gone up to a ball player they'd spotted from the Boston Red Sox. They just wanted an autograph. The ball player shoved them aside and cursed at them and walked on. I remember how he shook his head over that. Jerry was maybe the most famous man in Baltimore over the last 2 decades. And fame does things to some people, makes them isolated, makes them arrogant. Jerry was different. He saw fame as a privilege, a gift bestowed upon him, a vehicle to reach out a hand. Maybe that's why all last night and all through the day, people have been reaching back, calling the radio talk shows, calling friends, wanting to share their grief. This wasn't just the end of a broadcasting era. To a lot of people, it was more like a death in the family. I'm Michael Olesker.
Thank you, Michael. Another member of that extended family is WBAL-TV sports director Vince Bagley, who remembers a real pro who rarely talked about television.
Not at all impressed by his own importance, and just such believability and such credibility. And he looked at that camera, and I mean, he was talking to you directly. And I just admired him so much as a professional, and wish he liked to play morning golf more than he did, because we did play a few times.
Did you beat him?
It was even. We played about the same. Mediocre, but we had fun.
And John Buren is next with sports.
Absolutely. In fact, a tribute from the sports world to Jerry.
More reaction from some of the people involved in the sports entertainment business around Baltimore to the passing of one of the greats. We'll have that for you when we come back, and here are your late race results from Laurel Race Course today. Hope you'll stay with us.
Help Wanted, National Furniture Factory Trailer Truck Disposal Sale, direct from the factory to the public. Save 70%. Free layaways at Nationwide Warehouse. Brand new living room suites and sectional sofas and pit groups from $188. Bedroom sets from $188. Brand new mattress sets, all sizes, from $29 each piece, sold in sets. Free layaways today and tomorrow only. At Nationwide Warehouse, there's one near you. Baltimore, West and East, Capitol Heights, Silver Springs. Phone now. Nationwide Warehouse. Nationwide Warehouse.
Is this your idea of meat and potatoes? Or how you think of soup and a sandwich? Then you have the taste for Noah. Is this how you like your eggs in the morning? Does potluck look like this? Then you have the taste for Noah. Uncommon soups, exceptional sauces, bouillon and salad dressings. Is this your idea of a good square meal? Noah, where taste is everything.
Attack a Big Mac. And large fries. Specially priced at $1.88.
Legum's sales manager is under the gun to move out hundreds of Chevys and Nissans by January 11th. These cars and trucks are costing money, so Legum is forced to blow them out with a $59.95 manager's one-price sale. Chevy Cavaliers, Nissan Sentra, Chevy S10 pickups, Nissan pickups, and more are all $59.95. $59.95 plus factory incentives up to $1,000 can be used for your down payment. Hurry, if the cars aren't gone, he'll be gone at Legum Chevrolet Nissan, Eastern Avenue at Beltway exit 38 West.
It's time for sports, and John Buren is here.
And among the legion of friends that our friend Jerry Turner had in this series, certainly a lot of them were in the sports business, and I think that one thing that, and I talked to some of them today, the one thing that they all seem to mention that drew them to him, and I think to a great extent drew us to him, was a quality that he had that I think was just this uncluttered and crystal clear feeling of honesty you had about the guy. You knew it was straight stuff when he was telling it to you. You knew that there were no frills, straight ahead. Anybody who knew Jerry Turner for more than 20 minutes had to be aware of the fact that the man just loves sports. But what I think many of us particularly admired about him was the way in which Jerry Turner loved sports. He did it without reservation. He did it with all the energy and all the enthusiasm of a young child watching his very first ball game. In fact, when it came to sports, Jerry was a lot like a little kid, because little kids have that energy. Little kids are genuine. They don't hold anything back. And neither did Jerry Turner.
Good evening, everybody. I'm Jerry Turner.
And I'm Al Sanders.
And tonight, another reason for the joy of living in Baltimore is the trophy that rests here tonight, the one that says Baseball Champions of the World. And that distinction, of course, belongs to the Baltimore Orioles.
That Turner enthusiasm was never so apparent as it was on this fall evening in 1983 as the city of Baltimore celebrated an Orioles World Championship. Jerry got so carried away, he went out and bought a bundle of T-shirts.
You'd like to see what they look like? Isn't that nice? I love, if I can ever get it, number 1. I mean, that is where we should be.
It says it all.
1983 World Champions. Boy, that has a nice ring to it.
And I think that I know have lost a very, very good baseball man in the city of Baltimore, because I know that Jerry loved the Orioles. And I guess even beyond that, we lost a tremendous individual, because Jerry Turner was one fine, fine individual, and it is quite a loss for our city. There's no question about that.
Jerry loved to, do the early news, then jump over to the ballpark if we were home, run in there and grab a sandwich, and then come down and sit down on the back of the booth, and just loved to talk baseball, loved every facet of it, and he was just pure and simple an Orioles fan. And he was the same way about the Colts.
And about other sports as well. During the summer months, it was difficult to get Jerry off of the golf course. And along the way, Jerry even managed to cover a young heavyweight boxer, then known as Cassius Clay.
Have you heard from Sonny since you fought him last?
Well, all I heard about Sonny Liston, he got in a lot of trouble out there in Denver, Colorado. He was caught with a pistol in his car, speeding, and all of that was my fault.
How's that?
Sonny Liston was driving on the highway one day. He wasn't bothering nobody. It wasn't bothering nobody. Somebody saw him and recognized him, and they said, "Hey!" And he thought they said, "Clay!"
It was with the O's, though, that Jerry was most at home. The ball club gave him his own uniform. Most of the players got to know him personally. And when one of those former Oriole players joined the Eyewitness sports team, he was immediately impressed by the big league attitude Jerry brought to his job.
I think I'd never seen him in a grumpy mood when I came in here. And I think that's what I'll miss. I know the man had to be under a lot of pressure. I mean, it's a high publicity job. There's a lot on the line every single night, but I never saw him in a bad mood. He came in. I think that's the ultimate of a true professional. He knows that he can get the job done every single night, and I think everybody out there realizes that too, and that's one reason why we're going to miss him.
Some thoughts from Ken Singleton. Of course, we'll have more reaction from the sports community to the passing of Jerry Turner tonight with the night team. First day of the new year, of course, traditionally the biggest day of the year in college football. Let me bring you up to date on what's happened in the bowl games. First of all, ACC champion Clemson beat defending national champion Penn State in the Citrus. FSU plays Nebraska in the Fiesta Bowl. The Cotton Bowl won in large fashion by Texas A&M. And Syracuse and Auburn played to a 16-all tie. Coming up tonight, battle for the national championship at the Orange Bowl.
All right, John, thank you.
Coming up Monday night at 6 on Channel 13's Eyewitness News, Monday marks the one-year anniversary of the Amtrak disaster in Chase. We'll bring you team coverage on what changes that accident has caused. And Monday night at 8, we bring you a very special program, a one-hour tribute to Jerry Turner, including an opportunity for us to hear from you. That's Monday night at 8 o'clock, an Eyewitness News tribute to Jerry Turner. Wishes and memories.
Oh, I don't have that. I'm sorry. All right, thank you for calling. Channel 13. Hello? Yes. Busier than I was, but not that busy as yet.
Those phone calls have come in all day, and not just here at Channel 13. Marty Bass tells us that radio talk shows have also been your outlet of expression and mourning.
I'm a little upset now that part of the team has gone. That's the way I looked at them.
This morning, Dave Durian's talk show on WBAL radio became an outlet for sharing the hurt and pain of losing Jerry.
The humility of the man was amazing. Such a great person. We'll certainly miss him.
Radio talk shows have become very popular in Baltimore as a vehicle for anybody to get something off their chest and for everybody to participate in discussions of the day. This day began for Dave Durian at 9, and so did calls about Jerry. Psychologists tell us that sharing a loss, talking about it, is very important in the healing process, and you obviously agree.
And my husband and I had our coffee and spoke about Jerry. He's a pharmacist who used to work at the old Morgan Millards. He came from behind the prescription counter, and he went up and he said, "Gee, let me shake the hand of a real celebrity." And you know Jerry, he says, "I'll cut that out. Get back behind that counter and do your job."
It's talking it out. It's getting it off your chest. It's bringing up the fond memories that is in a way a defense mechanism against the loss that you feel, against the sadness that you feel. It's something you find when there's a death in the family, and this is what people have been telling me all morning, that it has been like a death in the family.
Participating with Dave and with you this morning was on one hand painful, but on the other hand very relieving. A needed release. Over the next few days, we're all going to need to talk about stuff, and be sure that radio talk shows will be a way for all of us to say, Jerry, we really miss you. With Instant, I'm Marty Bass, Channel 13, Eyewitness News.
But we have some great memories.
Absolutely. When you have the country's top-rated news anchorman, you want to promote him. That's exactly what Channel 13 has done over the years with Jerry. Richard Scher went through some of the old promos for us and has this look back.
With Jerry Turner, what you saw is exactly what you got. Warm, genuine, the most real person you'll probably ever know. Jerry loved everybody, and he made all of us feel good.
Until today, there's little doubt as to why Jerry Turner is the most popular anchorman in Baltimore.
Bet you didn't know I was an ace pilot, did you? Well, I used to be. And one of the things I learned about being up there is how to trust the people down here. And I feel the same way about the people I now work with every day. Well, here we are again, rolling down the road toward the exciting 1980s. And you know, in looking back over the years, we've taken some big chances at Eyewitness News.
For 20 years, Jerry Turner has been delivering Baltimore's best news coverage, as well as some of its worst jokes.
Yes, Jerry had a wonderful sense of humor and a special quality to reach out and touch people's lives. The best way to promote Jerry Turner was to simply turn on the camera.
And those little surprises make Baltimore one of a kind. It's a tradition of teamwork and dedication, a unique spirit that built this city into a great place to call home.
Jerry Turner, you have charisma.
No. I had it last year, but I'm better now. You know where your friends are.
20 years ago, the spirit of Eyewitness News was born when an unknown but dedicated reporter named Jerry Turner came to Channel 13.
And each night, we try to capture that same spirit.
Eyewitness News. It's a good feeling to know.
Richard Scher, Channel 13, Eyewitness News.
And Eyewitness News will continue with some final thoughts on Jerry Turner.
Pontiac's Big Value Blowout is going on now. Save up to $910 on specially equipped Grand Ams. Special savings are also available on most other Pontiacs. And Pontiac has even made it possible for us to pass along savings of up to $775 on air-conditioned 6000s, along with $900 savings on option packages. This could mean total savings of up to $1,675 at Chieftain, Scott, and Town & Country Pontiac, Anderson, Boone, and O'Donnell Pontiac, or Imperial, Admiral, and Penn Pontiac.
The Grant-A-Wish Benefit Dance is 9 p.m. January 9th at the Steelworkers Hall, 2610 Dundalk Avenue. Tickets are $18. For details, 282-7773.
The countdown begins Saturday at 9 a.m.
T-minus 12 and counting.
Circuit City kicks off 88 with New Year savings on TVs, VCRs, compact disc players, and more.
T-minus 6.
Saturday only. Save on this Zenith 19-inch color TV with remote. Just $266. This Technique stereo cassette deck with Dolby. Just $79. We're closed today, but open Saturday. The Circuit City New Year's sale.
Sunday on Cityline, Wynton Marsalis, the incredible trumpeter who gracefully bridges jazz and the classics. Hi, I'm Jackie Hall.
And I'm B.T. Bentley. His inherent understanding and interpretation of music have made him a jazz giant at an early age.
He's managed to widen the jazz audience and breathe new life into the treasured art form.
This week, we'll discuss the academic approach that has brought him wide acclaim.
Wynton Marsalis, Sunday at noon on Cityline.
Again, tonight our top story is a very personal and difficult one. The loss of our friend and colleague, Jerry Turner. Funeral services will be held at 2 o'clock at the Towson Presbyterian Church on Chesapeake Avenue. Jerry lost his year-long fight against cancer last night.
And now let's check with Bob and the 5-day forecast. Bob?
Thank you, Denise. Taking a look ahead for the next 5 days. Plenty of cold weather. Temperatures generally in the mid-30s, cooling down to 30 by Wednesday. Lows teens to 20s and a few low 30s. Clouds, maybe some snow late in the day Monday. Al?
All right, Bob. This has been a night set aside for many of you to let us know how you feel about Jerry and what he meant in your life. You've also heard from many members of Jerry's Eyewitness News family. And with that in mind, here are my personal thoughts about the friend we've lost.
That man is accused of killing a Park Avenue grocer last October during a hold-up attempt.
Broadcast news journalists are accustomed to reporting life's tragedies. It goes with the turf. But we are also people, and it's the people in each of us that hurts tonight. Jerry and I shared the worst and best of times over the last 15 years. Yes, he was a journalist who left an indelible stamp on Eyewitness News, but I will always remember his human side, his difficulty in explaining the loss of a fellow friend and sports anchor, Randy Blair.
Well, you know, you feel so inadequate because words can't express it. And I think probably that a lot of folks, most folks, don't realize how close we are, how closely we work together, and what our friendship means to each other. And I was in Boston when I heard the news, and I almost smiled because I said, you know, you really can't joke about that. And so it'll be tough to come to work Monday. And, you know, I wish I could find the words, but I can't. It's just a great loss.
Walking the back roads of his hometown in Meridian, Mississippi, Jerry and I found some of the best times. It was a dream assignment, a way of looking back at his roots in Mississippi and at mine in St. Louis. We weren't after a major news story. We found more. We found each other. As I said, these were the best of times. And they, when coupled with the memory of his smile, humor, and warmth, will get this one reporter through the worst of times.
And that's our report at the moment. I'm Denise Koch.
And I'm Al Sanders for the entire Eyewitness News team. Good night.
Leaders and world citizens paid final tribute today to Sir Winston Churchill.
Tonight, the world is reeling from the news that Egypt's president, 62-year-old Anwar Sadat, has been shot and killed by terrorists within his own army. Good evening, everybody. At this hour, there are new signs that the owner of the Baltimore Colts is ready to do something. He may have already done it.
This baseball team, especially when during those years they were calling the dynasty years, probably put Baltimore on the map as much as anything else has ever happened in this city.
Are we having fun yet, is what I want to know.
We are.
Let's make this city an even better place to live.
Tonight, we're going to show you the Jerry you and we remember fondly.
This was excruciating to watch. Not the tribute to Jerry, but how his firefighting friends handled the news Jerry wouldn't be there tomorrow to warm their living rooms anymore.
Well, that was a little hard. I mean, you see a guy on television day in and day out. Especially Jerry. He was good. When he passed away, it was rough.
But when Jerry lived, it was great. Jerry admired these public servants. He liked the firemen and police so much he helped them raise money. Baltimore County returned the favor and made him a member of their force.
I hereby designate Mr. Jerry Turner, WJZ anchorman, par excellence, as honorary fire chief of the day.
Engine 13, engine 7, truck 4, respond by...
John Broadway grew up watching Jerry report the good and bad. He says Jerry was an extra member of his family.
Yeah, you come home, watch television, watch the news, and he'd be on television. He was like a family, friend, you know. Just got used to seeing him, you know.
I thank Junior Achievement for this award tonight. In my case, of advancing years is more like senior achievement, but I'll take it.
You'd think Jerry's long hours at work would be enough. You'd think so. He didn't. He devoted weeks and months of private time to help virtually every local charity raise money. They never stopped thanking him.
You can see we're overjoyed that the little furballs have homes.
These firemen never met Jerry, but they say he was a tremendous teacher. And if Jerry ever became a professor, he'd be a doctor of humanities.
If you made a mistake, it was covered up, laughed at. It seemed to me that he didn't look down his nose because he figured that people were human.
Last spring, the Orioles handed out press passes. They accidentally gave me Jerry's pass. I tried to give it back to Jerry. He said, keep it. Of course, Jerry never needed a pass to get in anywhere in Baltimore.
I'm in charge of decorum here, you know. I mean, not on this program too often, but we do try to run a tight ship. The tails are more.
For the night team, Andy Field, Eyewitness News.
Funeral services will be held for Jerry Sunday at 2 o'clock at the Townsend Presbyterian Church on Chesapeake Avenue. Monday night at 8, we will have a special 1-hour tribute to Jerry, during which we hope to hear from some of you. That's Monday night at 8 on Channel 13.
Jerry Turner loved Baltimore, and Baltimore loved Jerry Turner. Across the area, we remember the man who touched so many lives daily for so many years. Today, we took some time to talk with some of you about your memories and your reflections of Jerry Turner.
He was such a genuinely decent human being. I think everybody, and I've been listening all morning, and people are just crushed.
It was very upsetting to me. I've always enjoyed him. I've been watching him since he's been in Baltimore, and it's really a loss to the city.
Part of the family. We watched him all the time, every evening.
Part of the family for you too, sir?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. I thought highly of Jerry. I thought he was a great news commentator, a great humanitarian. It's going to be a big loss to the city, a very big loss.
It was always like a big family, and it was fun to watch them, and he will be greatly missed.
To remember Jerry, his family has asked that in lieu of flowers, contributions be made to the scholarship fund that bears his name. If you would like to make a donation, you can send your contributions to the Jerry Turner Scholarship Fund, 6th East Hamilton Street, Baltimore, Maryland, 21202. Jerry walked among the political giants of our state with ease. In fact, he was one of a very select group of journalists to get closer than an arm's length to our former mayor-turned-governor, William Donald Schaefer. Today, the governor remembered Jerry as a caring man who gave tirelessly of himself. Others remembered Jerry's humor.
Time I get tired. He'll be missed, but I think when I think about him, I have a little smile on my face with some of those humorous stories, and some not so humorous, but he tried all the time, and we all appreciate that.
It won't be Baltimore without Jerry. It's like losing the Colts or steamed crabs not being in the bay. And Jerry's the kind of guy that a girl would like to take home to her mother. Handsome, dashing, and kind of old-fashioned. He believed in being a family man.
My memory one is really one of very deep respect and very high tribute. I think he was unique, and he had an enormous impact on our community, all for the good.
Former Mayor Tommy D'Alessandro III remembered Jerry with the same words Jerry had used to remember his father, Tommy Jr., at the time of his death. He was a monument.
Now, a look at other news developments.
And that number is an 8. Now tonight's second winning number is drawn. That number is a 6. And now the third and final number in tonight's Pick 3 game is selected. And that number is a 7. That makes tonight's winning Pick 3 number 867. That number once again is 867. While I have your attention, I'd like to take this opportunity to introduce you to my very brand new #1 best buddy in the whole world. His name is Mr. Donald Clark. And what makes Donald such a special buddy of mine is that Donald was one of the 3 winners of the $4 million lotto that we had last week. Don, congratulations on behalf of everyone here at WJZ and everyone at the Lottery Commission. Spend it in good health. Okay, as you can see, we're just about ready for our Pick 4 drawing. Once again, our machines are lined up in a randomly selected order, each machine containing 10 balls individually numbered from 0 through 9. The game begins by releasing the balls in the first machine. Now the balls in the second machine are released. Now the balls in the third machine, and the fourth and final machine. Once again, acting as tonight's witness is Mr. Leon Mathis, and officiating tonight's drawing is lottery official Anise Campbell. Now tonight's first number in the Pick 4 game is drawn, and that number is a 6. Now tonight's second winning number is drawn. That number is an 8. Now tonight's third winning number is drawn. That number is a 0. And now the fourth winning number is drawn. And the fourth winning number is a 2. That makes tonight's winning Pick 4 number 6802. That number again is 6802.
All right, coming up, our first square-off of 1988. We're going to take a look back at 1987 and a look ahead at the new year with some of our panelists who are already into deep conversations. Be sure to join the Reverend St. George Cross and Alan Christian, Elaine Stein and Bob Scher, all here. 1988 begins on Square-Off in just a moment.
There are lots of places to invest your hard-earned money. Commodities, for instance. Or United States savings bonds. High-yielding, competitive U.S. savings bonds. The great American investment.
Fight one of the leading causes of heart disease, kidney disease, and blindness with one stroke. Support the American Diabetes Association.
WJZ-TV, Channel 13, Baltimore.
Good evening. As you are well aware by now, Jerry Turner's death Thursday night has deeply saddened all of us. The square-off that you are about to see was recorded before Jerry's death. Our condolences go out to Jerry's wife and children. And now, square-off. Well, Happy New Year from all of us here at Square Off. And Elaine, stop laughing. Let's get on with it. Let's look back for a moment at 1987. The subject that comes to mind that annoys you, bothers you, or at least you want to talk about tonight. Alan Christian.
I think, Richard, the stock market meltdown proved that it's now a global economic village.
Elaine Stein, your subject.
Well, AIDS has been a tremendous worry to me, and I certainly don't think that the government, until just